Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Moe. We're here today with another game discussion. Today we're going to be talking about enjoying open world games. The focus of this discussion is going to be The Witcher 3. I got some great footage for you guys, but as a whole, this discussion definitely pertains to just about any great open world RPG you've played in the last 10 years, of which there have been many. For me personally, ranking at the top of that list would be both of the Fallouts, Fallout 3 as well as New Vegas, Elder Scrolls Oblivion, Elder Scrolls Skyrim, as well as Elder Scrolls Morrowind. You could throw Grand Theft Auto into that list as well, but I think the RPG type experiences like Fallout, Skyrim, and The Witcher 3 kind of fall in a different category because they do the one thing that I enjoy more than anything else, and that is reward me for exploring the map, for going off the beaten path and beyond any sort of direct direction from the game. The Witcher 3 actually does a really great job of this, far better than I ever thought it was going to do, because initially I had just thought, okay, so the question marks on the map, that's kind of it. And then I was really upset, but that's not the case, as you can see from this haunted castle that I found, which was extremely spooky and very terrifying to walk through when I was playing this game about 1 in the morning with headphones on. I was a bit paranoid and a bit creeped out, just waiting for some sort of a wraith to come out and absolutely maul me to death. But that's another story, and if you find this castle on the map, be sure to let me know, share your experience with it. I thought it was a wonderful little location, and it wasn't marked in any way. I went to this place because I had just stumbled out of a cave after doing a story mission with Kiera. There was a sailboat and there was an island, and you bet your bottom I was going to sail to that island and see just what was there. And this is what I found. Among some other loot and a whole lot of neckers and crazy freaking monsters. But it was just a really spectacular location. And I think that, you know, this game delivers that sort of tenfold. I've just found so many areas on the map. Everybody keeps talking about that cave. I actually found that cave just the other day. Subsequently got my butt kicked by a bunch of neckers wearing like tiki masks. I think that's the cave everyone's talking about. But it's cool that there's stuff like that being talked about with The Witcher 3, right? That there are these locations on the map that are unmarked that people are like, hey, I found that cave everyone's talking about. That's really what makes it such an enjoyable open world experience. And I think that when you sit down and you say to yourself, how am I going to go about playing this? How can I play this game to enjoy it as much as possible, you know, on a personal level? Everybody has their own sort of way of doing things in open world games. Some people like to clear the entire main story. Some people like to do 2 playthroughs, like main story on the first and then clear everything on the second. Everyone has their own little way of playing these types of experiences. For me personally, as long as the game is good, right? You gotta have a good base. You gotta have a good piece of meat on the plate before you can properly enjoy it. I'd like to just kind of take things in stride. So usually I'll say to myself, I did this with Fallout and I did this with The Witcher, and it just seems to be a formula that works for me. Because initially when I start playing any game like this, I'm overwhelmed. And that's a good sign, because when an open world game overwhelms you, it usually means it's giving you a lot of things to do that are actually fun. Because I don't get that same sort of overwhelming feeling from something like Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs had a lot of stuff to do, but none of it was interesting. I wasn't interested in doing any of it. Whereas The Witcher and like Skyrim and Fallout, I'm pretty much interested in doing just about everything the game had to offer, and sometimes you couldn't do all of those things, so you had to make decisions. So for me, it was a matter of, yes, I want to progress the story. I think that's important. I obviously need to move through that at some point, and that's also going to allow me to go to different zones in the world. But at the same time, I'm kind of going to just do what I want when I want. So if I'm about to stumble on and start a side quest, but I look over to the west and there's kind of like a forest that looks really interesting and it's really dark, and man, maybe there's a cave that kind of looks like a cave on the map, I'm going to go there and I'm going to check it out and nothing's going to stop me. And I think that's personally my favorite way to play an open world game, because those are often the places where you find the beautiful little gems like this haunted castle. And sometimes you find a really cool piece of gear or armor that helps you out through the rest of your journey. Those little pieces of satisfaction are what make open world games so special to me. And I think that that's an important part of enjoying an open world game, is making sure that that number one, the game delivers that sort of satisfaction, that you're able to find that. Because just running through the main story and clearing all the side quests and doing everything the game directly tells you to do, that's really not enough for me. You know, I kind of want to be able to do what I want and see some sort of a reward from that, whether it's an actual piece of gear or just a really cool location like this haunted house, as I said before. So really that's what I want to ask you guys is how do you go about enjoying open world experiences like The Witcher 3? Is there a specific order that you tend to play the game in? Do you set priorities for different things on the map? However you do it, let me know down in the comment section below. Let's get some discussion going on this whole thing. Share it. Of course, it doesn't have to be about The Witcher 3. How did you play Fallout? How did you play Skyrim? How did you play the last great open world RPG? Let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one.